Wait a minute. You're telling me that the Delta Patriot is actually on consoles? The vehicle that we've been wanting to see on consoles for months now that we haven't seen? Are you serious? They were serious, alright. Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and in this video, we are going to be jumping into the console version of the game. This gameplay is being recorded on the Xbox Series X, and we are jumping into the Delta Patriot, which is finally here on console. Now, the Delta Patriot has had a really interesting story. Now, this vehicle originally released months ago, and there was a lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in terms of the testing and approval process to actually get this thing to where it is today on your console mod browser. Now, between the compatibility issues, and there were some branding issues with it as well, Iceberg has put in hours upon hours upon hours of work to get it to where it is today. And today, for the very first time, I am going to be not only downloading it, but also enabling it and driving it on console for my very first time, and I'm going to be sharing that experience with you guys. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually customizing it, and we're also going to run it through our kind of standard testing procedure, but we're also going to see what little Easter eggs have been included in this vehicle to sort of get it to where it is today, and like I said before, make it fully available here on console. Now, it's not small. It is a fairly sizely mod. It's a, let's see, 402.7 megabyte mod, which is a little bit on the larger side compared to some of the mods that we've seen lately on consoles, but I'm sure that it's going to be well worth that space. So as it downloads, let's go ahead and see how much memory it actually takes up. Now, the download shouldn't take too long, or at least it shouldn't take too long on the internet that we're using right here. There we go. We got the download complete. And let's see. Okay, so it's definitely going to be a little bit RAM intensive. So let me see. Let's turn off a couple of different things. We'll turn off the monster cart, even though that doesn't really use all that much memory. And that's still going to push it over the edge. I'm really curious to see how much I need to disable for this. So let's disable the L400 OBS. And let's go back and see. Oh, okay, so that wasn't actually all that much, and I could probably still... Nope, I cannot turn the WeGo Monster Card back on. So, my mod lineup right now is the Delta Patriot, the Limes Aries, the Limes Side-by-Side, the Money Setup mod, which once again, the maps don't really have... The maps and the Money mod don't really impact it all that much, but we also have the 2017 L400, and I could do this a lot quicker by looking at enabled only, but I have the L400, Limes Side-by-Side, Delta Patriot, the Aries, the Gooseneck Pack, and let's see, the Yeet Mobile as well. So I don't really have a ton of vehicles on right now, but as you can see, it is definitely pretty heavy on the RAM aspect of things. So let's get it into a map and we'll go ahead and test it out. Now, I do want to get a little bit of experience kind of, you know, using this thing in different scenarios. So once again, we will be using it outside of the normal testing ground space, but I do want to see what it's like in that testing ground space, because the testing ground space is sort of the blueprint from which all of these vehicles kind of grow from. It's a blueprint from which to start, and it's a place where they can actually, you know, explore all of their capabilities. So let's go into the garage. We're going to go ahead and retain this guy, and we'll sell the remaining... What the heck? I had two 1500s. That's a little weird. I'm not used to, like, two 1500s showing up in my garage. So let's pick up the Delta Patriot if we can find it. There it is. God, it's so crazy seeing this thing on console for the first time. And I've got to say, it looks amazing here on the Xbox Series X. So let's go into the customization. And let's see, the D&D 6.5-liter V8 Turbo. There's two different variants of this engine. It's the exact same... Oh, that's the 6.5. And then this one is bored out to a 6.6, and that actually raises the power to weight up to a S+ rating. God, I love the look of those BFG tires. So let's see. We're going to be starting with the Delta X6 1000 6-speed automatic. We also have the 480E 4-speed with manual low and 4-speed standard. So I'm going to do the 4-speed with manual low, and we'll start there with the TAC 4 independent raised, the aftermarket independent, and we also have the TAC 4 independent low. Now, let's see. I am going to say that this one is probably going to be more flexible, the aftermarket independent, but we'll see on the flex ramp. So let's see. Tires-wise, we're going to be starting with the 43-inch LO2. Then we can go up to a 46-inch LO2. We've got the TMT. I actually really like those. Those look really, really good. We've got the airless tires, which the airless tires are definitely a unique take. And let's also see what... Oh, dude, these BFGs on AEV wheels look really, really good. Really, really good. We've also got some chained MT options if you're going to be taking this thing into some environments that require chain tires. So we'll do these. And then let's go with the autonomous scout winch extended. And spare wheel wise, we're going to do, let's see, spare wheel frame, and we'll do the spare BFG on the back. And let's see, stock air filter, we'll do the tall mushroom snorkel. And here we get into a little bit more of the customization. So, got a couple of different rear bumper options. I definitely want to stick with this one because it allows us to accommodate the spare wheel. And, whoa, we can do the alpha roof extension. That looks amazing. We got the exo frame that we can throw on top of it as well if we'd like. We have the alpha roof rack, which obviously requires the extended, alpha body or wagon body. And we have the large roof rack as well, small roof rack, and let's see, soft top roof, which you can switch out if you would like. Now, the front bumper is going to be the stock bumper and the Predator bumper. I am going to go with the stock bumper, actually, because I kind of prefer the look. And let's see, miscellaneous. So, let's see. Actually, we've got lighting options for the other aftermarket bumper. Short antenna, door ballistic plates. Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't realize they actually gave us the option of using those. Fender flares. Actually, that looks kind of sick. I normally don't go with, like, the small fender extensions, but I really like those. A little go hard or go home plate on the front. Let's see, rep and iceberg. We got the side steps as well, and the trailer hitch on the back, which is basically and simply a trailer hitch that you can use to tow several different types of trailers. Now, the prototype radar unit is once again basically a portable radar that you can carry around in the back to use to explore different areas of maps that you might not have discovered yet or might not have revealed on the map yet. We've also got the rear frame rack, slant back closed, slant back open, and extra fuel. So let's see. I think I might do the prototype radar unit. And then, oh, you could do the slant back open with the prototype radar unit, but I think I'm going to leave the back open. And then let's see. So this is going to be your equipment for the rack, and that's going to be the spare wheel for that particular rack. But I'm going to do this toolbox and this spare wheel, and we'll see how it goes from there. Now, the only thing with that is that that's a spare, looks like a bogger. Doesn't look like the tires that we're running right now. So let's see. Ooh, that's really cool. LED light bar front. LED light bar rear. Dude, there's so much that we can actually like put on this freaking thing here. Embedded rack lighting. There's so much light. We literally have light in all directions. Now, colors wise, basically everything is a custom color, and it's either going to be a solid color or a camo color, and the solid colors are really bright, really vibrant, and the camo colors do a great job as well. Now, I do like the red, but I kind of want to run one of the camo color schemes because I think it definitely suits the character of this vehicle, and I'll probably run this, which is more of a kind of like a snow camo, Arctic camo type deal. Now, we're definitely going to throw beans on the dash, and then at this point, it's time to go ahead and head out of the garage for the very first time. Let's see what this thing's all about. Now, obviously, with that 4-speed with manual low, your gear changes are going to be a little bit slower, especially when going into reverse. So if that bothers you, I would not recommend running this transmission. But if you're okay with shifting a little bit slower, that's going to be completely fine for you. Now, you're going to get a standard assortment of scout trailers with this vehicle. Nothing too crazy, nothing too over the top. But that's really what this thing is for. It is designed for a more vanilla gameplay style, and let's see if that radar is animated. Let's see, activate the radar, press Y for the radar. Yo, that's so cool! So it actually does spin. It's not a super long animation, but actually what I kind of like about it is the fact that the animation doesn't take super long, so you can go ahead and get your scan done and then move along to the next environment or the next area. Now let's see what the flex is like with this aftermarket suspension. Let's bring you up the flex ramp. Pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, pretty good, especially if you're comparing it to standard vehicles or vanilla in-game vehicles. It's good. It's not super crazy in terms of flex, but it is very good. Now, let's head out for some actual obstacles out here on the testing grounds and see what it's like to drive when you really throw it into some real challenges. Now, for those of you that like to play in interior view, you're going to absolutely love the way this interior has been designed. Now, if we actually go over to the HUD and we turn the HUD off, this interior view is definitely designed to be used with the HUD disabled because, as you can see, there are so many details all over this interior that if you had the HUD on, you wouldn't actually be able to see all of the details. Now, both gauges work, both the speedometer and the tachometer, and I've got to say, they're actually really satisfying to watch. Let's head through the mud, or not really mud yet, but combination of mud and water, and see how it does through here. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. I've got to say, that's actually better than I thought it was going to do in there. So let's turn our HUD back on so we can actually have access to our advanced functions. And we're going to go ahead and give it a good God, don't do that. The steering response is definitely a little bit slower than I'm used to, especially comparing it to the other trucks I've been driving lately, but once again, I have to remember that he has tried very, very hard to make this feel similar to standard in-game trucks. Although, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like the Hummer H2 in-game, or at least the default Hummer H2, as well as the International Scout, and maybe even the CK1500, all have quicker steering response and quicker steering return than the P1 does. So it would kind of be nice to see the steering return response speed addressed a little bit later on down the line. Now let's see how it does in some rock crawling conditions. It's got a lot of torque, and it really does a great job of putting that power to the ground. Let's see how you do through the rocks. I mean, not considering the fact that we're at a very steep angle right now, I feel like it's... Dude, oh my god, that is really close to tipping over. Probably shouldn't have gotten it into this position to begin with, but let's see if we can adjust it fairly easily. That's actually not too bad. That's got a lot more grip on the rocks than I expected it to have, because I've got to say, I went into this vehicle not expecting it to have all that much rock grip, because the standard in-game vehicles don't have that much rock grip, and I understand that game balance was definitely something that Iceberg, the creator, was wanting to preserve, but I've got to say, I really do appreciate the amount of extra rock grip that this vehicle does have. I think it's a really, really nice extra feature. So let's go ahead and bring it down this hill right here. It is a little bit, well, actually, I was going to say it's a little bit top-heavy, but it's really not. It's not as top-heavy as I was expecting it to be, especially with the aftermarket lift. Now, once again, I do have to say, though, and I did experience it right back there again before coming back down the hill, I wasn't quite a big fan of the steering return speed. The steering return speed, I think, is the one thing that I would like to see maybe updated, but that's, again, a very, very personal taste type thing, and that's not at all to criticize the tuning work that Iceberg put into this vehicle. Once again, the tuning work is basically based on where he felt this vehicle was perfectly balanced for his tastes, and I really do respect that. So let's see if we can make our way. Whoa, that's ripping. Dude, that's lockers off in high in the shallow mud. That's pretty dang good. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to do. So let's see how it does in some slightly deeper stuff. Now, granted, this is going to be in low. Let's see if it'll go a little bit faster. That's pretty good. What about low plus, like just full on? Nah, it's not really going any faster. It wanted to spin a little bit. So varying that low range does help when you're going through mud like this. You just have to make sure you stay on top of where your gear range actually is, because of the fact that some of those ranges will help and some of those will definitely not help. So let's get you back up out of the mud again and see. Whoop, come on. Yeah, I'm really, really all about this thing, though. The little features like the portable radar edition, and the way that it drives and the way that it lets you customize it, and also the way that it really does try to fit itself into the standard game balance without necessarily overpowering the game, but also giving you some distinct advantages, like, for example, the portable radar, as well as just the overall rock grip of the vehicle. So it's very interesting, especially to me, to compare this to how a stock in-game vehicle drives, because it absolutely has more rock grip, and that portable radar will definitely make it easier to discover maps, although the steering speed is, I would argue, slower than, or at least it feels slower than a lot of the standard in-game vehicles. So the balance-based choices are definitely interesting to look at when you're talking about how this vehicle fits into the standard game balance. So let's see how it does off the bridge jump, and I don't have dev tools because we're on console once again, and we're just gonna let gravity go ahead and take it and see what happens to this thing when you launch it off of the bridge jump. Oh my god! Dude, a slight touch of the steering wheel, really, really, really did push us over the edge. And I just barely tapped it because I wanted it to go a little bit further to the right. And it was like, wham! I don't know if that was to do with the grip or if that was to do with, like, steering response versus steering input. I'm not completely sure on that one. Either way, thanks to a little bit of a ninja winch, it did fully survive the bridge jump, which I am totally okay with, and I gotta say, it's very, very strong. I mean, look how little damage it sustained from the fall that it just took. So, with all that being said and done, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions on this vehicle or on the video in the comments section down below. I'm always down there, and I'm always happy to talk to you guys in the comments, and if you're new around here and would like to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.